My name is David Klein. I've been working towards the show for 2 to 3 years. Even given the hard times we've had recently, I'm very proud of it. And it's been a delight, as always, to work with Sarah and the whole Thackeray Gallery. I really hope you enjoy it. I've entitled the show Drawing in Stone, particularly because of the use of the relief carvings in bar stone, because it's such a soft and malleable material. It did almost feel like doing a sketch or a charcoal drawing. It felt like drawing in stone. I brought the very big lump of this boy, which was immensely heavy, then had to cut it in half, which was incredibly difficult. That sort of triangular, axe-like shape immediately sang as a head to me. In terms of this Ziggy Zaggy was something I only realised as I was working into it. So there's always discoveries. Just reminded me of my old love, David Bowie. I think of a title and then I try and keep that loosely in the subconscious and on my mind as I'm working. But often the title does come later as the work evolves. It's something that came out of the Zimbabwean stones, which are very hard stones, metamorphic. The natural way of making the wax penetrate is to heat them up with a blowtorch and then apply the wax. I just thought I'll try it on the bar stone. Immediately I did, it burst into flame and started creating these tonal differences, which I just found fascinating because in a way they emphasise and give that almost sketch-like tonal contrast, which creates and create more of an essence to the form. I had an old Land Rover, 1960 Land Rover, and my father spent a lot of time in Africa. And my younger brother, who's a medic, also had a fascination with Africa. So I basically gave up the job and took the Land Rover right down through France, Spain, into Morocco, into Mali, across the Sahara, into Niger, all of West Africa. Spent 6 months doing that, and during that time I had a bit of an epiphany, and I'd heard about this little school in Stoke-on-Trent, and I wrote a letter. So when I came back I posted it and sort of knew what I wanted to do. Probably born out of my love of one of my first loves, which is Michelangelo's Slaves, which actually, funnily enough, my mother pointed out to me when I was very young, a child. And struck me the power of a figure emerging from stone and the idea of a siren calling the fishermen and the seagoers onto the rocks. I don't know, there's something, beguiling about it. My ideal world would be to have a small amount of land and have 10, 15 stones just sitting there that I could live with for, year on year, and slowly look at them and get to know them, get familiar with them, let them talk to me as to what they can do. 3 horses that I have here in the show, 2 of which are these relief carvings, I've tried to develop in slightly different ways. One leaving the natural stone highly polished, one trying to use very much that tonal charcoal idea with lights and darks. Near my old studio there was a stonemason who basically sold up after 20 years and went to Australia and wanted to offload all his stock. So basically I got about 3 flatbed loads of stone and had it all dotted around my old studio space. And there's still some there now, so I've been sourcing from there quite a lot. Pathos to me is the most primitive and evocative and slightly beguiling and hard to understand, whereas the head of the warrior was a completely natural stone. It felt like a riven head of a very proud, slightly brutal face, but as this stone is regarded sort of shamanistically and culturally as a peace stone, it struck me as a contrast between the warrior and peace, which I found very affecting. It can actually be very fruitful, an early fracture. It allows you, it fractures your mind. So you have to sort of rethink. And, maybe a little bit like the whole COVID thing, it makes you look in a different way and not use the normal mental patterns. I must admit, I love work finding a home. There is a sense of place, and there's a little sense of loss. Immediately you lose a piece. And to go, I've visited with you a few of your clients, and seeing stuff in situ is a real delight. One of my inspirations at college was a chap called Harry Everington, and I vividly remember him saying to me, coming up very quietly and almost whispering in my ear, that David, you're touching this stone, it's very ancient, and if you don't make it better than it is now, just leave it alone. And it really made me think about, the complete connection between us and the privilege that it is to work a piece of stone that is so ancient and that will outlive us all.